Warning! The following video may contain flashing images. Viewer discretion is advised. Ahoy folks, and welcome back to It To TSET, and today, well, as per usual, you've already seen what it is, but do you know what it is? Who knows? I know, and some people on the internet probably already do know, and you can sort of have a guess. Look, it's a new campaign setting. New. Well, fuck you and all. It's a campaign setting for Dungeons and Dragons 5e. 5e compatible up here. This was produced by, I believe it's got in association with, WizKids, which is a Wizards of the Coast brand. So, yeah, it's one of those unofficial, official Dungeons and Dragons things. So yeah, it's designed kind of for kids. The whole thing is aimed around children, I think, is what I'm getting from the material and the supplements. But yeah, they have the campaign guide. They have about 3-4 series of miniatures for your Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And yeah, let's just jump in, have a look, see what's occurring, and well, let's have a bit of a deep dive. So, the book itself, it looks lovely. The artwork's fantastic. It's bright, it's colourful. The pages are very clear, very nicely designed. It's, you know, as you'd expect, it's a very wordy. It's Dungeons and Dragons, but it's all lore. You know, it's all background. It's all few extra rules here and there. There's a few bits and pieces. I mean, let's go through bit by bit. Let's have. What I will say though, what I do like is it does have the old ribbon, so you can mark off where you got to. So you see, I've basically read through the entire book, and I kind of gave up on the creatures, so that's where I'm at. And also, in the back, it does have a rather nice fold-out map of the land, which is quite nice. It's quite nice. Anyway, so, looking at the contents of the book. No, one more page. This is the problem with books on this channel. It doesn't really work out too well. So this, thereabouts looks good. Right, so your introduction to Wardlings, basically giving you what this book's about, what the world is we're set in. So, yeah, Dex something. That could be the gods. Essentially, it's two feuding gods, one good, one bad. Gives you a brief history of the world that they've set up. What else? We've got content, playing the game, basics, and essentially this refers you back to Dungeons and Dragons, the Player's Handbook, which of course you're gonna kind of need to read, and yeah, it's a bit heavier than Wardlings, so might be worth having someone who knows what they're talking about with that, if you fancy looking at Wardlings, is all I'm going to say. Yeah, character creation is there, pretty simple, it's not too difficult, kind of pretty much pulled it from the handbook back there. Then you've got the new, the faces of Nior. So, although it says here you've got racial traits and you've got human, Finfolk, Midbari, Snowcap and Squatch, yeah, let's basically have a look at those. I mean, let's have a quick butchers. Let's see. So you've got your humans, basic humans, yeah, and then you've got the Finfolk, which are kind of nomadic, but not really. And then you've got the Midbari, which are like desert dwellers, and then you've got the Snowcaps, and then you've got the Squatch, and these are the only quote-unquote races that are available to play in the game. Everyone's a quote-unquote human character. Yeah, okay, so the Squatch are kind of like elves, but not quite. And the Snowcap are kind of like dwarves, but they're not. The Midbari, I don't know what they're kind of like, but they're kind of like something. But they are all races that are in the game, believe it or not. It just so happens that you can't play as any of those races, so Yeah, I kind of doing a bit of a whitewashing with the characters there. I suppose trying to make it simpler, trying to make it more designed for kids, easy to pick up. But if you're expecting to play a tiefling warlock, you're fresh out of luck here. Heroes, they've got the basic hero archetypes: barbarian, bard, cleric, druid, fighter, ranger, rogue, and wizard. And yeah, I mean, yes, okay, fine, you've got different abilities, and each, well, pretty much, I think there's a few that don't quite, but most of the classes kind of split into two archetypes. So they've got two different sets of magic that they learn when they level up. You know, Rogue's probably the only one that doesn't. I would turn to that one, wouldn't I, just to be a pain in the arse. Arcane Tradition, Spectromancer, Prism Light Colours. Yeah, there's, you know, it's a few interesting sort of things. I mean, what was it? We've got a Fey Friend, so let's take the Ranger for example. So, Fey Friend features, they've got Resistance of Awe, they've got Magic of the Fey, Faking on 3rd level, then they get Fey Sight ability, Fey Blink, Radiance of Awe, and Charming Dodge. So they've got a few magic spells coming through. And they've also got the basic spells that come through as well. And then you've also got... oh no. Okay, so Fey is another one that only has one set of thing. Ah, but here we go. The... come on. The Druidic Circles. So the Druids have got several different circles of which to do their magic. So not only do they to get your basic Druid things, they've also got features and abilities for worshipping the snow, worshipping the sand, worshipping water, wood, and stone. So you can basically, you know, you can be a proper elemental Druid in this game. You know, really proper breaks it down and gives you different ways to play a Druid. I suppose I should basically point out is that the whole world is based around magic that only affects kids. So, whilst you may be thinking, oh, that's all right, I'll just be a fighter thing and bob, you're actually just a child. None of the players are technically allowed to be adults, because only children have magic in this universe. Okay, fair enough. And yeah, they have human NPCs and guards in the quest that they provide. Where is it? Trouble at Farrowwind Farm. So they've got adults, and they've got humans, and they've got guards, and they've got etc, etc. But it seems that the powerful characters are children. I don't know whether that's going to work out too well, or whether that's going to help with children getting involved in this. I don't know. It kind of puts me off personally, but maybe I'm far too old for this. And so, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea and interesting concept of just having children be the main characters, and they be who is basically playing. You know, it's an interesting idea, and basically they all have to have a familiar. So let's skip past all the backgrounds. It gives a nice lot of backgrounds. There's a few sort of duff ones, but then you get that in most things. It's like, oh, I'm running out of reasons for doing things, so I'll just throw this rubbish one in there. But, you know, equipment's pretty basic. There's nothing major, because like I said, they're kids, so they can't have too much that's impressive. No artificers. So you can't have yourself a gnome artificer in this one, because it's like, yeah, you're not making weapons in this. No, behave, sod off. Magic and familiars. So basically, every character has a familiar. Rather than being an extra NPC that attacks or does magic or whatever, this is basically, I don't know, it's kind of like a fairy spirit. It's kind of like, yeah, they might as well not even exist. Because all they do is they store extra magic points, which complicates the magic system even further, which is like, really? Did you need to make it any more difficult? And yeah, they've got an extra magical ability, and it's like, why? I know why. I'll explain to you why when we get to the miniatures, but in terms of the game, basically, these familiars are kind of pointless. You might as well just encompass their abilities into your actual builds, and the magic points and the pools of the magic, you might as well just have it. So this seems, I mean, I suppose it breaks it down. It might make it easier for some people, but for me it just like, what, really? Seems highly unnecessary. In terms of the world it builds, the locations and the map are just, they're not too detailed, but they're detailed enough to give you something to work off of. Each place has got points of interests and notable NPCs. Some of them are smaller, so Farrowing Farm, there's not much going on there, but then you get to places like, let's get to one of the bigger places. Where we got? Here we go. So Pinecrest. So Pinecrest, you know, you've got Eastwater, Northbridge, the Ruins, Southridge, Windlock, and NPCs. You've got the Midbari Reeve, and then you got a Dwarven Blacksmith. So it gives you plenty to build off of. It does do an interesting job of building a very condensed world, like one continent, basically. Where you could do anything you wanted. You know, everything and anything is contained within this one continent. You've got your deserts, you've got your bays, you've got your tropical islands, you've got your rivers, you've got your things, you've got your forests, you've got your mountain areas. You've got it's all there. There's no need to travel over the seas. What else was there? So there's creatures. They're all pretty standard. Nothing major jumps out. There's nothing spectacular about them. I mean, they've got some interesting names for what they are. There's some interesting ideas, but most of them are pretty standard. There's nothing to really jump out at you. They do include combat in the back of the book to make things a bit easier, so you don't have to keep pulling out the big old handbook. And they do have a list of pre-generated characters in the back. That was everything, wasn't it? Yes. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag. Definitely a mixed bag when it comes to the book itself. There are things that contradict itself, like one of the, I can probably find that because it's close to the bookmark. One of the creatures, which is a water-based creature, it's one of the first ones you see in the book. In fact, it is the first one you see in the book. It's an adult sea worm, right? Damage immunities. Apparently it's immune to fire. Okay. Then magical resistance. The sea worm has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects, except fire magic. Yeah. Funny that. I don't think it can be both at the same time, but hey ho. There you go. So, yeah, let's be clear. Elissa Teague has written quite a substantial bit of kit here. It's a decent read. It's a decent starter. It's not something I'm going to take wholehearted gospel should I ever want to play Wardlings, but it's not a bad jumping off point for me to work off of. The illustrations by Jackie Davis and Sabrina Pugnell. There, look them up. There's very good people, But I think I credited the editor, so I can slag them off because they didn't quite manage to do the job they were supposed to do. There is, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be that mean. So yeah, all in all, decent book, decent campaign. I definitely would cherry pick things though. If I was going to run a Wardlings game, I probably wouldn't actually necessarily set it on the planet that they're talking about. Maybe I'd set it as that's the story of the continents. On the continent where these kids grow up, no adults keep their magical abilities for some reason. That could be an interesting plot hook. Or it could just be the fact that all of the actual heroes and adventurers all bugger off and go on to the mainland and the other continents, whilst this piddly little fucking thing over in the corner is just for the kids. You know, there's full-size orcs and trolls and things, but then there's a kid you could sort of like, forget about that, and sort of like, once they reach a certain age and their magic disappears, then you could sort of say that, oh, they've grown up and they've realised, oh, wait, actually, we're not fighting threats that are nearly quite as dangerous as I made them out to be. Like fantasy. So there's a fantasy within the fantasy, and then they get to grow up and go play the full game and deal with some proper monsters. Yeah. So it has potential. It's a nice book, it's a nice idea, and it's not too bad. But let's take a peek at these miniatures. So let's go with, I just happened to pick out a witch and a cat. So, presented in these blister packaging, much like any other figurines. It's dusty as all heck, even though it's been kept in a box. Yeah, nice. I do like the design of the packaging. It's quite eye-catching. I suppose I'm kind of always sort of looking for sort of grey stone texture sort of things in these things, but the green makes it pop. It's really nice. And you've basically got a bit of a blurb on the back. Are we focused? We focused. I think you can read that. I can't. The screen's too small. Yeah, so give a quick explanation of the witch and this giant cat, which might as well not exist. It's not bad. They're quite big. They're quite bold on the packaging, so that's quite nice. But we're not here to look at the packaging. Let's get the what's-its out and have a good look, shall we? So nothing there, just a bit of backing cardboard, bit of plastic, got some nice base stands there for them. Oh, interesting. I was actually expecting these base stands to have like a little peg to put them in, stand them up in. No, they're literally two black counters. Okay, fair enough. Let's look at the cat first. So let's get up in here,
Fun. He makes drinks for everyone. Turn the handle to quench the ice and squirt in a flavour. That's nice.
Right, so yeah, with this cat is less a cat and more of a it looks like a wolf ate like half a pig or something. I swear to God, the chonk on this thing, it's freaking huge, man. Absolutely freaking humongous. But yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's got some details. The face is not all that clear, but what do you expect? The paintwork, I mean, I think there's meant to be paint on the eyes, but blowed if I can see it properly. Hang on. Yeah, there's a little bit of paint on the eyes, like red eyes or something. Looks like maybe the paint's chipped away there, or they didn't paint enough on that side. There's a little bit on the claws, and it's not bad. It's, basic hollow plastic. It could have been very well 3D printed for all our blooming know, but it's probably not. Probably just cast plastic, standard mould, bosh, pop it out, run through the paint cycle. The tail will probably come off looking at that because it's quite flimsy as expected, but in terms of a miniature, it's not massively bad. As for the witch, yeah, there's a lot more detail on the witch. I mean, as you'd expect, some nice gold boots, there's a nice little belt going on and a strap, and there's something hanging round her neck. Blowed if I can tell what it is though. And the broomstick's not bad. You've got the gold markings on the hands. Nice paintwork there. The face, there is a little something of the face. I mean,
evil space aliens are approaching your location.
So you've got some nice detail on the face there. It's really quite nice. I like it. And again, it's not a terrible little miniature. But that's so long as you're looking right up close. I mean, if I was going to zoom out, it's just like, it's nothing. It's pathetic. It's tiny. It's really not a lot to write home about. I mean, let's do a quick comparison. So the only miniatures I have to hand, because dumbass forgot to get the actual Dungeons & Dragons miniatures out because he's a twat. I got some Space Marines. I've got myself an orc as well, just for from the board game Space Crusade, hence why nothing's painted and nothing's done up, because miniature painting is not exactly my forte. But yeah, you can see on a scale, they're not that bad for miniatures. They're decent enough size. I mean, this thing's meant to be a big chunky boy anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, maybe not ideal to put up against each other because they kind of look out of scale, but you look at the detailing on, say, like the Space Marine, and this was like from donkey's years ago, and compare it to the Witch, it's pretty good. Plus they're pre-painted, which is even better. So, you know, it's not terrible when it comes to miniatures. Let's crack another one open and let's have a look at the big boy. Let's have a look at this troll. Oh, yes, we don't like the focusing. I've zoomed too far in. It doesn't like it. I'm sorry, camera. And again, what I thought was going to be a proper... Hello, yes, I don't like being zoomed in this much. A proper stand is literally just another flat disc, so... I don't know why. Especially considering this guy has a base of all of his own. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So, yeah, it don't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. So in terms of scale, you can see how this is meant to be a child and this is meant to be some sort of fat cat that ate a duck. This troll's a big, beefy boy. You know, he's got his nice little backpack, his club. Oh, yes, I do need to just a touch, just a smidge up, just a bit clever up, so we can see. You know, he's got the detailing. He's got a nice action pose. He's already got himself a base. I don't know what is the point of these discs. What is the point? No point. Go away. Yeah, you know, the face is pretty good. I mean, the tusks are a bit squiffy, if you ask me. Are we focusing on the book again? Are we? Yes, I can see there's text there. Let's have a look at this thing. Oh, not too close, not too close. There we go. I mean, it's not bad. Can we focus? Camera, focus. Focus. Thank you. So he's quite detailed in the face, decent hair. I mean, the backpack's full of things. I mean, it's not bad at all. It's really quite nicely done, really quite detailed. It's a nice little enemy figure. And when I say little, it's like twice the size, as you'd expect. Let's just jump in. Let's just open them all up. Open them all up. Let's have a look while we're here. So, what do we have here? We have ourselves a lizard. So this is a lizard. Have you ever seen a dinosaur? Because that's basically what this is. It's a freaking dinosaur. When I think lizard, I think like a gecko or something along those lines. Not a great big chunky freaking dinosaur. I mean, yeah, I mean it's okay, but really, it's a bit chunky for my liking. I'm not overtly keen on that. But yeah, with the lizard we have a warlock. That's quite nice. The magical element's quite good. On camera it looks really bright, that magic, but it's quite dull. Is it translucent? That's my next question. It is, yes, kind of translucent. So that is quite a nice little magical effect there. And again, got the nice details, nice colours. The little skeleton and the rib cage there, and the face and the hair. It looks like Naruto. It's an interesting design, that's for sure. It's not something I would typically see in a D&D thing. That's what we got. Let's say that's. Apparently the witch is gender fluid, and so is the warlock, unless of course they are particularly gendered, because we now have ourselves a boy ranger, which to me looks like one of the Squatch people. There he is with his little crossbow and his little face paint on. Not bad, not bad. He's got a little quiver at the back there, lots of nice coloured paints on him, really making the character pop. And his familiar is a monkey in a knife fight, because a monkey with a knife is completely what this book said would happen. No, familiars don't work like that in the book. They're just So this comes back to my point of why every character has a familiar. Okay? So, I managed to bag these £8 or less ago. £8 or less or go. So for £8 or less, you're getting a miniature and a familiar, or one giant big beefy boy. Fair enough, you might say. Fair enough, you might say. However, yeah, I mean, I can spend like £7 and get, you know, a Liv Morgan, who hasn't been working out on her knees. You know, it's that's a dramatic difference. For my £7, maybe £10 at most, I can get a Liv Morgan scale, you know, or I can get that. It's kind of like trying to give a reason to sell these at the price they are. Because let's be fair, if you tried to sell just the miniature by itself, just the hero character by itself, for what it costs and to get the profit you're getting, it's gonna be expensive. Whereas if they throw another little cheap little monkey boy in there, it kind of balances out a bit more, and the £8 seems more reasonable. And I know full well there's economies of scale involved here. These are more niche than WWE action figures. Action figures like that are just produced en masse. These are very much a niche product. But at the same time, you know, you're spending like nearly a tenner and this is what you're getting. I mean, I might be a bit old and a bit sort of out of touch with the money wise, but that's a lot of money. I mean, the fact that I bought a lot of them doesn't really... Shut up. But no, I had to get a fair view of these, is what I'm saying. I'm trying to give reasons. Let's have a look at a boy wizard, shall we? Boy wizard, another one with translucent magical abilities. Troll, you're stealing the limelight. Can you back off a little bit? There we go. Really nice detailing there. And he has himself probably the best familiar I've seen so far. He's a little imp. Oh, it's so cute! I like the imp. His little scroll and everything. I really like him. He's so cool. Yeah. He almost looks like he should be a wizard. Not a wizard. He should be an elven wizard. But no, the ears are just, you know, quite large coming out of his hair. But he's not a bad little fella. Not a bad little fella. What else have we got? We've got ourselves a girl fighter with a hunting falcon. So this one is a little different. So let's start off with the girl fighter, if I can get the damn thing out of the bloody packaging. That's quite neat. As you can see, they're not gender discriminative. They're not expecting you to play as one or the other, because they're kids. They could be either or. This could be a boy fighter, for all anyone cares. No one cares. It's fine. It'll do the business. Nice big old sword. Lovely bit of detailing on it. What's happening at the top there? That is actually an interesting handle it's got on that sword. It looks like it's... it looks like it's been snapped off on one side. So the guard bit's only on one side of the sword. And the helmet is very Valkyrie-esque, but, you know, bit of a cloak, bit of thing. And again, you know, the face isn't terrible. I mean, the paint's actually pretty good on that, considering how bloody small it is. I'm actually quite impressed. Oh, I've just remembered who this now reminds me of. That's now Jack Splicer from Shaolin Showdown. So, anyway, the girl fighter came with this eagle, which is like minuscule, and they've got the translucent air, you know, underneath it to try and make it bigger. But it's like, I mean, I suppose that kind of is in scale with the monkey. You know, you'd expect that to be the right size with the monkey, but then that's meant to be a cat. Hang on, I need to move all these up a bit. I've got my camera sort of doing the reverse thing, so it's throwing everything off. So, cat, girl, could be anywhere under 18. falcon, and monkey. One of these things is not like the others, folks, and it might as well be the poxy lizard in the background, but hey ho. So I've got one more, last one. We'll have a last look at this, and then we'll have a wrap up. We have a girl druid, which she is really cute. I like her. She's all bundled up with her green mossy outfit and the big furs around there, and then she's crafting something. She's got some kind of magical spell brewing there. Very plant-based from what I can see. Got the backpacks and the hood, and I don't even know what the detailing is on it. It's the first time I've ever seen it. It looks like there's a face, but no, it's just a little satchel. And of course you've got your bedroll and the fluffy boots. A big old stack bashing people in the head with. But yeah, no, the blonde with the buns, it's kind of cute. I like it. And I suppose she might be a rock druid because she's got herself a stone familiar. So we saw this in the book. It's basically a rock doggy. It's a doggy made out of rocks. It kind of looks like he should stand up and be like in Mega Man. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like he should be up on his hind legs, battling Mega Man. But that could just be me. But he's kind of alright. He's unique. Not something I would normally see in D&D.
Cross, criss, cross, criss, cross, criss-cross crack.
Okay, so in terms of the miniatures, are they worth the money? In short, probably not. In short, I probably spent far too much money just acquiring this little set here. Whilst they have the novelty factor, all in all, I mean, unless you're specifically running a Wardlings campaign using the miniatures, no. I mean, it's a role-play game. You can do it with just pen and paper. You don't need miniatures. This isn't a miniature war game. I mean, version 4 may have been, but this specific version of D&D, no, you don't need the miniatures. I mean, yeah, it might help maybe younger players have sort of like a little, avatar for them to sit in front of themselves so they can sort of look and go, this is who I am, this is my hero, that's my animal. Maybe, possibly, but all in all, I mean, they're novelty factors at the end of the day. I mean, I do like, what was it, the troll, wasn't it? The troll. I quite like the troll. The troll's quite cool. But then you're only getting one. I've just noticed that's a fish in his hand. Yeah, I will admit, they're quality products. They look the business, great detailing, great paintwork, but they're not worth the money if you're not gonna... Okay, bottom line is basically, if you're going to do anything, I'm going to get anything from this series, it's going to be the book. You get the book for the campaign, the setting, the new ideas, the idea that it's just children involved in the thing. It gives you a nice ground base to work off of. Is it worth the actual price of the book? Depending on where you get it and how cheap you can get it. Yeah, a decent campaign book. It's going with my others. I'm keeping this. It's not going anywhere. Interesting ideas that I can use and implement in other Dungeons & Dragons adventures. The miniatures, though, are going to look cute. I will put them away. I will probably never actually use them. They'll just sit in the box. And yeah, pretty much kind of go to waste, unfortunately. There's not much more I can say on the matter. So yeah, that's the Wardlings range. There's a lot more of the miniatures available if you are interested. They do, I think there's about 5 series now. All with, plenty of evil monsters and dozens upon dozens of the heroes with their familiars. So if that's your thing and you do want some of these, they are available. They're getting on a bit now, so you might kind of have to search eBay for them. But they are out there. Book's easier to find. Definitely worth getting, even if it's secondhand. Otherwise, yeah, I just really, honestly, I don't see why you couldn't just stick to this and run the campaign from that. Unless you've got a specific series, a specific reason to be getting the Wardlings book. But that's about the long and short of it. Long being the operative word because I'm rambling and didn't really have a conclusion. I already did the not wearing a mask thing, so I can't do that last time. Damn it!